What is up, everybody? How we doing? All right, let's get this party started. Okay. What is up, everybody? How we doing? What's up, Insta? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? How we doing? All right, so today is going to be a fun little superpower upgrade. And I'm going to be answering some questions around flow state leadership. It's around sales systems and also around the neuroscience and the neuroscience principles around these questions that people ask when it comes to state control and also when it comes to attraction. Okay. Yeah, and then of course before we get started, I'm not gonna go into my whole pedigree because y'all know most of you guys have been spending time around our brand, but I'm so excited to fucking begin and just answer some of your questions. But the precipice of my background has been mostly around hypnosis, hypnotic trance, hypnotherapy, NLP, which stands for neuro linguistic programming. Of course, most of you guys know that. And then, of course, the brand aesthetic, personal branding around how to create a system that is still brand aligned, meaning a system that generates cash flow on the back end behind the scenes and also has front end high ticket painful conversion rates for coaches, for consultants. And one of the things that I've learned through my experience of many years of leadership coaching and just helping people to heal is, and when I say heal, that's not a word that I use very frequently in my world. I would just say to clear out the root cause and to first start with that. And in order to manifest, okay, when it comes to things like the 7 Hermetic principles or the Bible or Tao or ways of understanding the Kabbalion or the Kabbalah, these are all, the way I like to see it is that all of these mystical traditions, they have to do a lot with the Kabbalah because it's more of an organized fashion to be able to systematize why things happen and truly align with the natural rhythm, the natural flow of the universe. And so let's get started with some questions. I'm super excited to move this train forward when it comes to creating a lot of impact, a lot of freedom, and having a brand be able to outcompete a lot of the other coaching brands because of this kind of Red Sea space that we tend to find ourselves in 2024. And why I say that is because the skepticism is at an all-time high. And another way to say that is that buyers are way less trustworthy because there are so many options, and just the way that offers used to close and convert, at least high ticket offers or long-term group offers, they just don't convert the same way, which is why a lot of coaches are finding themselves really at the effect of just not knowing how to innovate. And it sucks to not know how to innovate when things stop working because you just are guessing and you don't have enough data. I just have noticed that when I stop building and fostering and doubling down on my relationships that I've invested a lot of time, resources, and energy into, that's a big loss, because you end up losing access to people who have way more data than you, which makes your actions a lot riskier in the context of how to make money. So let's start with a few problems that people have been, I see some questions popping up around messaging. Okay. And then I'm going to see if I can answer a bunch of your questions around energy and how to maintain high energy and not burn out, not get kind of mentally, cognitively overloaded, and be authentic to yourself. And before we get into these questions, just understand that anything that you say, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's going to be often interpreted in a way that you don't know. What do I mean by that? Well, it doesn't matter what your intention is. Anytime that you're going to publish something online, or anytime that you're going to say something in public or anywhere, it doesn't matter what your intention is. And the truth and the reality is that you will never actually be able to control other people's perceptions at the time that they're hearing or receiving something that you're saying. Okay, so you could have the best intentions, but again, it's impossible to truly have everybody understand or even believe what your real intentions are. And that's just a part of the, I don't like to say game, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. And that's why you can't help everybody. You're not supposed to, even though it seems tempting to want to help anybody. It's generally going to be kind of a race to the bottom. That's what I've observed. So the first question is, okay, how do I get my messaging to attract only dream clients? Great question. Great question. And by the way, you can go to theosoulcummings.com to pick up what is normally a $500 gift. You can get that for free. So go to theosoulcummings, okay, .com to pick that up for free as a gift. So to answer your question, I've noticed that most coaches, like, who are kind of stuck between, just say 5,000 to 20,000 a month, or even 30,000 a month, surprisingly, still believe that they are talking to their dream clients. Like, they still believe that, like, they know messaging at a deep elite level. And that is fair. I don't think it's relevant to even compare skill set at that. But what I would say, though, is that I think that they focus a lot on engagement and audience growth and trying to create viral content. Okay. And little do they know that even if their audience texts overnight, that would not necessarily change your sales. Okay. Unless you tweaked your messaging and your offer positioning, authority to speak only to your dream clients. And so you kind of have this example where, like, my clients believe that their client is anyone who they could help, when it's actually not. Or sometimes they will get very complicated in their pitches, and they will also underprice their high proximity spaces to compensate. Okay. And so it's never a marketing issue. It's always generally a messaging issue, which is why a lot of our clients who implement my sales system, my Transcendent 7-figure sales system, they turn their IP, okay? They turn their already pre-existing content or offer into high cash flow messaging sequences. So imagine that, like, the way I have to kind of explain how this works is that, like, imagine if you have a puzzle and you don't realize that there's a bigger size puzzle available to you, and that you don't even need to necessarily use the puzzle pieces with your hands. You can actually use this kind of automated machine that can reorganize all of these puzzle pieces in the fashion that is the most beautiful in the eyes of what? The beholder, the person who is going to be considering purchasing that piece of art. Okay. And that's why I talk a lot about framing your communication, so that when someone's comparing you in their mind with someone who with a bigger brand or with a big following, or maybe even more qualified than you, that doesn't negatively impact your chances at creating sales with clients that you know that you deserve to serve. Okay, that's just one example of how coaches leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table just from not having a way to shift, okay, and really clarify the thing that they're really selling in a way that doesn't sound and feel like other coaches in their category. This is what I call the category of one personal branding, category of one soul niche. Okay, fuck your niche. Fuck your niche. You are your niche. And let's get to the next question, because that was fucking great. That was a great question. Another problem we solved in our community today, a person asked, like, what are the types of things that you focus on? Well, again, great question. And to answer your question, I would just kind of follow that question with how is that relevant to what you want? How is that relevant to the types of clients that you want to serve and how much money you'd like to be making? Because it all depends on who you help, what you help them to get, and how you help them to get there. That's very basic understandings of an offer. But honestly, it's the actual systematic, sequential way that you have your business model structured so that you can compress time. You can compress time, which is the buyer's cycle, to being able to not need to nurture people for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I used to also believe that you had to just kind of nurture and add the value of your audience until I realized, through not just my own menteeship, okay, but also helping clients. We have hundreds of clients. And I realized that it's an illusion, or it's a mirage, that you need, that you can't sign clients, or clients can't buy with you within one day of following you, of finding your media, either your Instagram or your Facebook. That is 1000% possible. I see it happen every week in our community. And there's people that followed me today who signed up for one of my low ticket or premium offers. And that's not a big deal. It's just that, generally speaking, this kind of loops back to that last point where I had mentioned that people are in a paradigm where, if it's not a struggle, if they're not pushing, if they're just kind of, even worse, apathetic and just waiting and wishing. I'll tell you one thing. I used to be one of the shyest people, one of the most socially insecure people when it comes to dating, when it comes to long-term committed relationships. Could never actually keep a healthy dynamic. Okay. And I also used to be the one who in high school who was the least socially calibrated. And that was just funny looking back on it, but it was really traumatizing and isolating having that be my life. And that was an area of my life, just like in business, doing something that I love and I'm passionate about, was very challenging as well. So I'll be the first to let anyone who's learning from me to understand that I was someone who couldn't even ask an old fucking lady for the time without getting nervous. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that I can create a level of impact, the level of influence, and build a multiple 6 and then multiple 7-figure business in multiple different niches. I'm pretty sure. And by the way, without ad spend, without fancy fucking funnels, I'm pretty sure that you can also get to that level, because there's many things that I've thought that there's no way that I was going to get out of it, but I had to truly open myself up to innovation, open myself up to being wrong about some things to get to a different place that I had never been. And this is why I love neuroscience, because it is such a powerful way to outcompete your own psychology. And when people have weak physiology, what ends up happening is that their psychology and their reptilian brain and essentially their fight or flight response takes over. And this can be especially frustrating for people, right? When in the business world or in the dating world, when women and men both want the same thing, but that they don't understand that the opposite gender processes information in a different way. And this is kind of funny because my favorite thing to do is to actually host events where there's both men and women in the same room, whether I'm teaching on dating and long-term healthy relationship dynamics, or if I'm just teaching business, because the way that women buy and sell is most certainly different than how men buy and sell. And by the way, anytime I make these like kind of relatively grandiose statements, I'm fully aware that for every fucking rule, there's an exception. So we're not getting into this kind of exception territory. I get that. What I am saying is that based on the science and the principles that have stood the test of time over thousands of years, I'm making overarching generalizations based on numbers and data and historical, real proven formulas. But I also understand that every single thing that I say is like, here's the truth. You know, you hear that all the time. You've been lied to. Here's the truth. Well, that's half true too. So, you know, it's all influence, right? It's all creating framing and structure, and everyone understands that. Okay. So what I have to teach is how to go underneath the radar in a covert way so that people who understand how NLP or hypnosis works, or how the subconscious works, which a lot of people don't know the deeper nuances of how the nervous system really communicates with the conscious mind, the reptilian brain, the subconscious mind, and the prefrontal cortex in the heart, and also the gut and the body and the spirit. Once you understand these deeper levels, you don't actually need to think that much. And that flies in the face of amazing texts that I've read, such as Think and Grow Rich. Does that make sense? Okay, if you understand that your mind is a radio station tuning mechanism, that your mind is a tuning instrument, you would also realize that your skeletal system is shaped like a tuning fork, which is why the name of my company is called Frequency Influence, where you can have it to where you make millions of dollars on repeat consistently and sustainably without burning out, but in a way that feels good to your gender. Also, that feels good in a way that serves holistically your entire business, your entire family life, your entire philosophy and core values for maintaining your mental health, maintaining your sovereignty. And not only that, but doing it in a way where you can recirculate and apply these tools, templates, and systems and processes so that your clients feel awesome about why they bought with you instead of someone else. It's super simple. So let's talk about, someone has a question about when to know to pivot and how to stop procrastinating. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so let's talk about procrastination. The only two reasons why someone would procrastinate would be, I would say threefold. The first is more of a paradigm thing. And what I mean by that is that they lack the awareness that their expectations based on their mindset and or their skill set, their expectations are flawed. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, because whenever I speak, I'm speaking from an intention that I'm speaking truly to the infinite version of people who can hear some things that they may not want to hear, but that they kind of need to hear if they want to get a faster result. Okay, this is why I don't give advice to layman people on the street unless they explicitly ask me, because a lot of the things that I will point out upon reading people, and this is something I also teach in my live cohorts, how to read people on not a verbal, not even a communicating level, but also on a physiological level on the face. And you can also tell the way that someone is speaking, the speech patterns will actually reveal to you their worldview. We have tested plug and play templates that give people the power, assuming that you are an ethical business owner, to be able to leverage that to blaze a trail, make more impact, and of course enjoy having normal levels of high cash flow. And I'm talking 20, 30, 50, $100,000 a month, when we helped over 189 people to accomplish and achieve that result. So of course, you guys know that I'm very results oriented. And at the same time, I love to teach the tricks and hacks of neuroscience to be able to create leverage for someone, meaning helping someone to get into their own hypnotic trance of the winner effect, and just leverage the power of neurochemistry, of how you can outcompete your own psychology. So like I said, the reason why people procrastinate is usually because of a deep state of, or a deep unresolved, let's just say childhood trauma, that they are just refusing to look at, and they're just unwilling to, or they just have never been exposed to someone who could in theory create a safe space for them to become seen and let themselves become exposed in a positive way. Some people, mainstream term for that is vulnerability. But the point here is that people will never take a risk, will never let themselves feel joy or pleasure past the level they feel safe. And what I love about financial freedom is, and something that you're passionate about, is that creates a safety, security shield, a security blanket for someone. Why? Because that's a high cash flow tool. And that's the first thing that we focus on with every new client who onboards with us every single week, is we start with fastest paths to cash without posting more content, without building any new assets, and also without thinking that you have to create a new product. I was actually just at the gym today. There's a gym that I go to in Austin, and one of the awesome guys, I won't tell his name, but he was thinking about creating some sort of coaching program. And I'm sure that he's got everything handled. I didn't really feel like talking about business. Like when I go to work out, I usually just talk shit and I clown. And I just let myself have this kind of active recovery, chill vibe where I'm just there to fucking work my ass off in the gym and have a good time doing it with my personal trainers. So, but anyways, I didn't even try, but I just knew that there was a part of that conversation where there was some missing puzzle piece around that person not realizing that if you are building a product and then developing with people who are not paying money or high ticket money for that matter, and we don't need to go into what defines high ticket, but let's just say you're building a product and just kind of getting case studies like that, that's awesome. That's a very beautiful, integrous thing to do. but it's coming from a scarcity paradigm, and scarcity is actually a lie. So if you were to get to where you can get paid to practice with still, of course, a reasonable price, okay, under $2,000 to $3,000 per client, that's actually a more useful level of time allocation, because you're actually building a product based on people who are even invested, which is going to not only just make you money, but it's also going to close the timeline to product development, because you know it's something that the market wants to buy. And that's a whole nother cookie that you have to crumble, because product quality is not connected to clear positioned conversion offer. Those are two completely different things. Now they are synergistic, but they're not. Too many coaches assume that if they have a high quality product that it should sell. But the problem with that is you don't have to look too far to realize that coaching skills in and of themselves are actually not like high paid. Look at PE teachers, therapists, talk therapists, psychiatrists, even, unless you're like a psychiatrist in fucking Malibu or Beverly Hills, it's highly unlikely, okay? Or like a basketball coach, a tennis coach, a pickleball coach, it's highly unlikely that you're making big money. Okay, that's why I prefer to have our community identify as an asset owner versus a coach, so that they can start to focus on the needle movers, where you have one product, one conversion tool, one offer template, meaning sales map, product suite, and then one traffic source, and then of course one way to generate content. Okay, does that make sense? So you don't need all these things you don't need to be omnipresent to make a $500,000 to $1 million business. You need only one product, one offer, one traffic source, one conversion tool, and one fucking master coach. You just don't. You just and you don't need more than one VA. Okay, and that VA could be highly incompetent. We train VAs every single day. So if someone has a virtual assistant that is relatively useless, no offense to any VAs out there, I've never worked with a VA that was useless. Okay, that was a joke. Okay? We turn them into A players. Okay, very fast. And it's usually just a training skill. So in other words, it's either a mindset issue where someone doesn't even know how their systems operate, meaning their nervous system, with their unconscious, with their conscious mind. They're going to have a very hard time at getting out of this neurotic, narcissistic loop, which is what I like to call contracted lack of empathy, and then kind of using a euphemism of denial, calling themselves a sensitive empath, but then using niceties of spiritual like euphemisms and concepts and words that they just read somewhere or heard somewhere, to just make up for the fact that they're just not willing to pour out the cup on some of the things that have gotten them to here, but are not going to actually increase their level of influence, so that they can then increase the amount of people who they can impact with the things that they actually even love to teach, if that makes any sense. So, and what that's just another way to say, they just don't, they're in poverty consciousness, basically. Okay, we don't really have people in that our community as such. We have people who cannot wait to just release all that lack, and they can't wait to have messaging and a conversion tool that prevents people in lack from being attracted to their business. It's huge. And one way you can audit this is just to kind of notice, who are you attracting in your DMs? Are people even clicking on your link in bio? If they are, what type of buyers are they? Are they tire kickers? Are they brokies? Are they wokey brokies? Are they know-it-all, smart syndrome people who like think they're like Warren Buffett because they made 50K 1 month, but they can't keep growing? Like, who are you attracting? Who's clicking on your link in bio? That's who your messaging is actually speaking to. But you have to be willing to just confront the facts. Okay, the facts shall set you free. And the stories, well, again, you don't need to worry so much about stories when you get into my world, because we focus on deep unconscious state control, where your physiological state and your unconscious programming aren't pulling you back like an invisible force, holding you back. Your vision and then your programming are just kind of having this weird tug of war, this awkward process of saying you're going to do something but then not doing it, or knowing what to do and then not doing it, and then beating yourself up and then punching yourself in the face and then saying, oh, it feels good to stop punching myself. And I'm like, why you punch yourself in the first place? And they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, I know you don't understand, because it's just a confusion. It's just confusion. The nervous system really doesn't like the feeling of confusion. It is quite painful, which is why it's important to just clear all that stuff out and replace that with a core sense of self-esteem. We call that core confidence, in a healthy, fast way. And we use hypnosis for that, right? We use methodologies that involve communicating with the unconscious and the nervous system, so that the conscious mind that creates all of these perceptions and stories and belief systems around a lot of the integrated, let's just say, patterns in the body. Okay, that's what happens. This is when you're in a bad mood, you just kind of want to spread it. When you're in a good mood, you want to spread that shit like fucking juicy coconut oil or butter, if you will. Okay, that class is for another class. So we're not talking about dating and attraction. Actually, if you guys have any question about that, happy to pop in and what I would recommend for that. Okay. A lot of my clients have attracted and met the love of their life while they're growing their business. So that's actually a very common thing in my world, which is really awesome. I love seeing that. I think that love is important. I think that is one of those really valuable principles in life itself. But so, okay. So how fast do people get results in your community? Great question. Well, like I said, I don't want to say something that's going to disappoint you, but I'm going to say something which involves saying that it depends, because it depends on how committed someone is to their own transformation, into their own development, into their own level of impact, and how clear they want to be on who they want to serve and how big they want to show up and play and lead and blaze trails. But again, that just depends on the sophistication of the client. I have a much easier time at working with high-paying clients, and any coach who's been in the game for any amount of time would know that high paying luxury clients, meaning like if you know how to turn a 5K offer into a 20K offer, or a 20K offer into a 100K offer, you would understand that high ticket, super high premium clients, VIP clients, are much easier to and much more fun to fucking work with than low ticket clients. So it'll be, generally, most of our clients get results within the first less than 30 days to 45 days, because we give them an actual step-by-step reverse engineered roadmap to acquiring conversions and using some of those new sales to actually build out their pipeline to effortlessly magnetize leads. But before you can do any of that, you need to become someone who can effortlessly feel safe and familiarize to your unconscious to even know that the lane is available to you. So if you don't have the elevated state, you could be given the exact fucking blueprint and you won't see it. Your RAS will not pick it up. That's your selective focus. This is why, for instance, to give a crazy example, is that the most common thing amongst struggling coaching businesses who are capped at 6 figures or not able to sustain momentum in their cash flow is that they have a lack of discernment, a lack of will, and or a lack of the ability to tap into flow, because of the level of their system is not enabling them to have the cash flow to be able to have enough time outside of delivery to be even able to scale, to be even able to be publishing content, to even be able to have the time to build out their CRM. And if they don't have the time, they're going to become like a slave to either the phone or a slave to deliver. I see it all the time. Okay. And people are just scared that if they stop doing something that they're going to die or something, or they're going to burn out, or they're going to, I don't know, they're going to quit. And that's just normal behavior. Okay. Everyone does something in response to a feeling. And that feeling could be preferable or it could be not preferable. But either way, everyone behaves in response to a feeling. And when you know how to communicate to people on the unconscious mind in business or in your family or in life, you will understand how the matrix works. And then you will realize how much you were overthinking things, and how it's almost as if your intelligence was hurting you more than it was helping you. And the people who get the results with me are the ones who are full in, absorbed, and pour out the cup on what they know and open their true growth mindset to get out of this fixed mentality. And they truly embrace what I'm showing them. Because again, I'm not adding work to people's plate. I'm adding work to people's plate. I'm turning what they have from good to great. And when you turn something from good to great, that just implies that someone has enough skill set and wisdom, which is not the same thing as experience, to be able to turn something from nothing. Okay, so there's your answer. Your procrastination issue is either a mindset issue, and that has nothing to do with how smart you are, does nothing to do with your intellectual IQ. That has to do with a mental lack of understanding of how your entire system really actually operates. And then, or it's going to be a lack of skill, meaning someone hasn't even put in enough reps to even learn at a significant level, and they're just unwilling to suck at some things. That's usually what it is. So that's a helpful reframe. I hope that helps, to just be willing to suck at some things, to just admit that you suck at marketing, or you suck at messaging, or you suck at sales, or you suck at coaching. That's a harder one to admit, but doesn't mean you can't improve. Doesn't mean you can't catalyze change. Okay. Being amazing in leadership and business and creation of communications is going to make you a phenomenal world-class coach. And many coaches are only great at coaching people who share the exact same beliefs, philosophy, personalities, okay, preferences, right? Personal preferences. That's the basic level beginner to intermediate coach. Now, when you get to a higher elite level, you can actually coach people, and this would imply that you're intermediate. You can coach people who have a different set of values or priorities or philosophies. They have a different life situation. Maybe they're a different gender, but that's when you've really shown that you have a flexible speed and be able to help people get the exact same results, even if they have different strengths. Then at the highest world-class level is where you've reached that kind of 10,000 hour law, which I've reached in hypnosis and leadership mentorship, where you've served enough types of individuals where you can help multiple different types of people who are like you or also not like you, in a group setting, all at the same time. Help them all get breakthroughs instantly. And not just that, but to have the back end ops to be able to handle that much delivery and fulfillment. Okay, interesting. Okay, what's the one thing that you helped a client with recently? Oh, well, we overlaid our sell by chat framework, okay, which adopts this skill called hypnotic influence, where you are able to understand social dynamics and buyer sophistication. And when you understand social dynamics and buyer sophistication, not only that, but also female communication and male communication, you'll run circles around people who are just posting something on their website and then not having some sort of DM system running in the background. And that's the funniest part, is that, yo, it's so funny. Just like think of the market as, think of it as like a fishbowl, right? And if the market's a fishbowl, then what ends up happening is that many coaches forget that their dream client is consuming their peer content. And so if you know that your dream client is consuming your peers' content, your competitors' content, you would also laugh at the fact that if you have a better communication conversion tool than your counterpart or your competition, who even has a much bigger brand, much more assets allocated, more capital allocated towards a fancy schmancy website, and they're able to nurture the lead. When that lead is communicating with you, you go from the back of the dominant frame in the buyer's mind, the premium buyer's mind. You go to the forefront of the premium buyer's mind. And this is also when we talk about, when we serve people, help people with their execution, is that some people don't have a competency at knowing when to pull the trigger of empathy and spirituality and patience and grace. They don't know how to bring source and presence in at the forefront. And then they maybe also lack the ability to shift gears and go into the authority execution mode, where you go cray cray and take massive fucking inspired action, and you only focus on fast, instant implementation. You don't keep thinking about getting ready to get ready. And the reason why our clients implement fast is because they already know the results that my clients have been get every single week, because we post them in every single week, all online. It's fucking public, bitches. Let's go. And I don't say bitches to be disrespectful to women. In fact, women are more brilliant than us guys. I'll speak for myself. As guys, we're kind of dumb as rocks. Okay. And we had a conversation with my buddies at dinner tonight about high performing content. And I'm like, oh, damn, bro, I got a lot to say about that. And it goes back to kind of when I was helping women to attract and meet and keep their life partner, right, newly divorced, and then also helping men to understand how to become a high value man. And that's not the same thing as becoming high status. And that's also not the same thing as being better looking physically. One thing I will say is that men believe that they need to approach women. And when it comes to attraction, okay, between male and female, many men don't understand, as again, clueless, generally speaking, most of us, not all of us, that the woman has already opened. And it's highly likely that if you're in any environment that's relatively populated, many guys miss those cues, those honest signals that women put out, because women are masters at subtlety and their world is emotion. And so there's many things that they will either test or to wait for or to suggest, not necessarily overtly. Like us guys, we're very direct and we're very kind of clumsy with our actions, and we kind of expect women to fit in the box of how we like to and seduce. And I like that word seduce. I prefer attract or relate. And they don't operate the same way. So in other words, men, to answer your question, Jess, the men, we have a very limited understanding of how females communicate. And what women are actually, men are messy with their actions. Women are a little more messy with like their feelings or their level of nervous system regulation, and that's neurological. That's not something that you can really control in a healthy way, which that it's a paradox, because if you try to control your emotions and you don't know how to control them properly, then you end up kind of being imploding essentially. You end up projecting, you end up even sometimes numbing. and I have a vast experience in helping people to overcome addictions, myself included. And I would say that once you understand how the nervous system works in tandem and communicates with the conscious mind, and you understand the conscious mind thinks stories and language, you would also understand the nervous system does not communicate in stories or language. In fact, the subconscious mind communicates in metaphors, analogies, structural components, and then, of course, emotions, feelings. And so in the world of leadership, there's no such thing as a good or bad emotion, but that all feelings, those are not mutually exclusive. All feelings and emotions are leveraged as tools to be able to create. Think of them like paint brushes or colors of paint that you can paint the canvas of the lifestyle that you want to design, the things you want to have, the people you want to meet, the car you want to drive, the house you want to buy, the investment properties, the assets that you want to invest into, and the realization and the recognition, the appreciation that the ultimate asset is the CEO, is the CEO's level of competency and the C's level of sophistication. And so when you have a financial freedom, what I call freedom social funnel, you can actually elevate not just your health, but your relationships. You can contribute more to your family. It is the tide that raises all the ships. And I think that this is really beautiful because there's a lot of my times in my life when I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel that I was good enough. And I actually felt like a massive imposter because I had a very high level of potential guilt if I took someone's money and I didn't deliver on the results. And like I said, when you don't have conflict resolution in your business and you don't set clear expectations and boundaries, not only do you get banded on, but your clients have the wrong expectations, which creates a lot of chaos in your client relationships, which is not fun. Okay, that's not fun. But when you have that in place, you're gonna have so much fun, and you're gonna make a lot more money, and you're gonna have also longer LT, meaning lifetime value, and a raving fan of community. And that's what everyone wants, is this kind of ethical cult, if you will, this ethical cult. Keyword ethical. A lot of stuff I teach, I understand why people use it for win-lose, taking advantage of people and burning people. And my belief is that I truly believe that doesn't mean that we can't, as awakened leaders, use these skills, these maps, to be able to make a positive difference in the world. Okay, so let's take a couple more. Interesting. Okay, what kind of content used to work well that you stopped making? Great question. Okay, so Jason asks, was that Jason? Medi. Okay. Yeah, the question is, okay, yes, I do put my work on a swipe file to give to my clients. I do. Okay, the question is, what kind of content used to work well that you stopped making? Motivational content. I stopped making motivational content and my sales skyrocketed. Why? Well, it's because when anything is done, okay, this includes freebies, this includes incessant discounts and bonuses, this includes adding the value and nurturing. Okay, not against that. Okay, not against that. When you're projecting and pulling others down, that's just showing that you're very pissed, resentful, and you're just insecure, and you're compensating for something. And that's what happens when people hear my my qualifications, and that's okay for them. They can decide whether or not they think that I'm bragging or if I'm compensating. It's for them, it's their choice. But again, It's a lot of fun to just serve the right people and to prevent the wrong people from partnering with us. So yeah, motivational content is it's very fucking tantalizing. It's very exciting to make, but it doesn't really, at least the way I see it, is that my clients are already fucking motivated. They already have ambition. They already have high standards, unlike most people. So because coaching is a luxury good that people who highly value their potential self invest into themselves, like myself, like all my successful friends who stay successful and not become one-hit wonders, those motivational posts, they really only work for the top 2 to 3 people in every category. And so when I stopped making motivational content, damn, I attracted much higher sophistication, higher level affluent clients. And that goes for the whole, here's my little tip for, here's my advice for, regulating your energy. And I hope this helps. And, it's kind of like, oh, I want to be your friend. And like, we should like each other. Then hopefully you'll feel like you owe me. And then you'll pay me thousands of dollars. Like, that's the belief. But unfortunately, when you actually post too much value or motivational content, what ends up happening is that you attract what's called value takers and seekers and consumers and info grabbers. And most of those people, they have a bias that they're seeking and projecting out to the world, which is why they're the ones who take a lot of value, but they don't actually ever really invest anything significant into themselves. That's what I've noticed based on the data that we have. So let's just keep going. What are your clients overthinking? Yeah, it's like a paradigm, right? Think outside the box. If you're the financial freedom, if you're the money, if you're the value, then why do you feel that you have to convince and over-explain the value of what you do? It's a fucking paradox, right? So many coaches do that. I'd say like 95% of coaches would be double, triple every single week cash flow if they just got themselves out of that neurotic holding pattern. That is frustrating because if you're taking a lot of action and you're putting in a lot of effort, it's not going to be fun when your sales are low. Just a thought. So again, www.theosoulcummings. Yes, not C-O-M-E, C-U-M, like come. I'm coming everywhere. I'm just painting the walls, my friend. Painting the walls. Okay? Joke. Okay? I can make that joke because that's actually my real name. Okay? Who wants to paint the walls? With money, guys. Get your head out of the gutter, okay? So there's your answer right there. Yes, last month we had a 160K month. Yep, in October. And I posted less, actually. I posted less. So that just goes to show you that incessant posting, like volume, is justified by all the gurus in business. So, and I love and respect them, and they serve a mainstream jerper market. But when you actually realize that when you post a lot, and you believe that posting a lot it's like you're getting frame controlled by the guru who knows how you behave better than you know yourself. It would have to mean if you really actually are opening yourself, like people have to open themselves up and get out of this smart person syndrome and recognize that this is how the market behaves. It's how it evolves. When this is going to save you tens of thousands of dollars every single week if you just made this little tweak and you receive this insight. It doesn't even cost anything to become aware of. Is that things like persuasion tactics, NLP marketing type of stuff, neuro, whatever the fuck, right? Like we teach some of that too. But the thing is that a lot of sales and marketing that's taught in the mainstream world is justified by working the volume. is justified by doubling down on putting your nose to the grindstone. And I question sometimes, I'll speak for myself, because I've been in that world of kind of feeling empty after hitting 7 figures, feeling empty after hitting 6-figure months, and forgetting about the vision, forgetting about the fucking movement, forgetting about the impact. Fuck the legacy. I mean, the legacy is going to be a fucking ripple. The movement is what it's all about. The people is what it's all about. Being high frequency is what it's all about. But again, when you do a lot of that sales tactics and sales calls and fucking live launches, you're going to get frame controlled by that belief system. It's the same reason why people get super wealthy clients who make multi-millions of dollars and even a billionaire. They're getting frame controlled by what's called retail success. And then the other spiritual community, who are the wokey brokey community, they're getting frame controlled by syrupy spiritual simple truth. There you go. So you got to actually have discernment as a coach, because you're either going to be very high vibe and broke and smelly, and not even have your own nice spot and to just live in, or you're going to find yourself chasing validation, and it's just kind of a pussy or dick measuring contest. And I'm thank you, whoever made that principle, for helping us to get rid of this free speech cancellation. What's that word? Cancellation. I forget the word, but it's like when you say something offensive and then the Nerf gun society gets activated, and then they have to put Nerf gun pillows everywhere in case someone gets an emotional boo-boo. Just remember, it goes full circle back to what I said, guys, all you guys watching live here, is that doesn't matter what your intention is. You will never control or never even understand or know whether someone receives your message the way that you want them to receive it. So in other words, there's going to be fucking people guaranteed that receive your message in a way that's confirming their bias about how they see the world they're projecting out to the world. And there's nothing you fucking can do about it. So just wake up, accept it. And acceptance is the prerequisite for atonement. And for atonement to happen, you have to be willing to feel through some shit and clear the root cause blocks so that your system is actually vibrating at a level where your attraction can actually manifest, rather than thinking a vision board is going to do anything or affirmations are going to do shit. They don't unless you resolve and clear the root block, which takes one session. And we're doing in-person sessions in Austin in late November. So DM me the word hypnotherapy if you want to not only fucking receive it, but have an opportunity to be able to also get certified for quantum rapid hypnotherapy. Message me the word hypnosis. This is a massive tool in your tool belt, because you're also going to get extra access to our sales system when you apply. But this is by application only, because you have to be serious about getting out of your own way. You have to be serious about clearing the root cause. You have to be willing to accept that what you've been doing has either kind of accumulated in your system, and there's only so much you can extract out of yourself, compared to it when a high-level, highly qualified mentor who served thousands of clients of different personality types, traumas. I've worked with many women who have had sexual abuse. I've worked with most women, not most women, but I'd say 1 out of 3 or 4 women have. They just don't talk about it openly. I worked with military vets. I've also worked with mental chronic fatigue and health issues, mental health, depression, anxiety, because these are things that I also used to suffer with. Okay. So I know exactly how the nervous system is seeking familiar feelings. And then the conscious mind, it creates then attraction mechanisms to the unresolved root cause block, if that makes any sense. Whether you're trying to get rid of your money blocks or what the fuck, your love blocks. Okay. It's all coming from ages 0 to 7. And it doesn't even matter if it's past life. It's irrelevant. What's relevant is that you're doing something that's actually going to allow yourself to move forward without facing this resistance, this contraction of being hyper self-concerned and having FOPO. FOPO is just a fancy way to say fear of other people's opinions. And then being at the effect of your circumstance, not being able to move forward, and then recognizing that, oh my God, all I had to do is open up my capacity to receive, which would be the actual counterintuitive way to invest. So if you invest, it just implies you're scared to receive. It's a fucking Freudian slip right there. Okay, because it's not just receive money, it's receive pleasure. And you know what that means? You know what that means? It means being a dynamic quantum surfer. And if people don't sign up for your program, they don't sign up for your program, Eddie, they're just not ready for your coaching. They're just not serious. They're not. Because if they were serious, they would take action and be proactive. Because that's what leaders do. They don't just sit on the sidelines. They don't just coach shop. Once they coach shop, they take action. Okay. I already can tell. I can read people like a book when they coach shop. And I also teach my clients how to communicate with their clients and not just resign them, but also to sign up what's called a lurker. And a lurker is someone who stalks you and never engages with your stuff, but you prompt them to say custom or DM you something. And I've had it to where I've made an extra 20, 40K profit every single month from actually inviting a lurker to create a custom package for them that we co-plan and co-design together to get them the highest ROI, whether that be in their love relationships or their business, or even just their fucking energy levels, right? Like I'm talking exponential vitality, focus, flow state, creativity, fuck yes, energy, right? Instead of most people who are just addicted to telling themselves no and then receiving that reflection. We customize lurker packages. I think I'm just going to change it to my lurker pack. Lurkers love that shit because they have no objections. They've already been stalking you. So that's legit. Fucking love lurkers. Okay, because they're ready to take action. They're ready to say, you know, I'm done. Here's my hands. Stop tolerating mediocrity. That's glorified in society. It's glorified. Yeah, suck the tit of the cess, the sick satanic entertainment system, and just suck on the tit of dopamine dumping. All these guys, even some girls watching porn, fapping it to porn. They've got the crusty keyboard, right? They're painting the walls and they're lonely. They're isolated. Wouldn't even know who they'd be if they took action and just went for all of it. Just like recognize you don't have tomorrow guaranteed. Knock on wood. You could be dead tomorrow. Okay. I never take things for granted. Anyways, health is wealth. Okay. Mental health is wealth. Oh, let's go. Damn, I'm having fun, guys. Okay. I'm going to keep it up for a little bit, answer a few more of your questions because we got some lurkers over here on YouTube and then also my private Facebook group, my other communities as well. So let's take we'll take 3 more. 3 is the magic number. Also, we got some news with Nick Unkin, friend, business partner with your brand static. So that's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. How to turn your fucking assets and not add any more assets, but truly increase the speed of buyer cycle conversion rate of leads to conversions and not have to fucking nurture people. Oh God. I used to believe that too. Literally, I have clients who literally jump inside for within the first 7 to 14 days. They not only have ROI, now they have a sales system. Okay. That's collecting cash flow on the front end and on the back end, high ticket, boom, done. Okay. That's why when you're missing a clear roadmap that's innovated properly for what's working now, you just gain dopamine. You just unlock So much more multidimensionality to your authority. It's insane. Okay. And by the way, authority is an illusion. It's a perception. Authority is where you know how to put your on you and put you on the motherfucking pedestal, rather than you getting frame controlled by people who are better looking than you or have more perceived value as you. Like, you don't understand how the system works, which is why you're kind of pooping on Mother Nature, because Mother Nature's a system, right? The trees, they grow leaves, they grow fruit. You know the quality of the root by the quality of someone's fruit. And when the fruit goes down into compost, then little bugs eat it. When the bugs eat it, the little rabbits eat it. And then the rabbits take a shit, and then the shit gets eaten by the dog, which is, that's a half joke. But then the dogs, you know, they get eaten, or not dogs. That's really fucked up. I meant to say tigers, whatever. Fuck, you get my point, right? Then we eat the meat, and then we decompose, and then we die. So it's birth, all the little games you're playing in your mind, and then rest in peace. So you can play all the games you want, right? All the men, all the women, you can play all the games that you want. But man, oh man, people love to waste time. Okay? They love to spend time that doesn't get them ROI, because it just feels familiar, and that's safety to your unconscious. So, but yeah, that's the cycle of life, right? Cycle of life. So if you don't accept, and when you find out about how the world really works, and like it says in the Kabbalion, and you're not making big money, you're not making millions, and having that be normal, you're just going to get pissed. You're going to be very mad when you find out about how reality actually works, because it's all systems. I'm a part of systems, but I'm consciously aware, and I consciously choose and will myself to be a part of systems. That's not the same thing as being a slave to a 9-to-5. That's not the same thing as just taking what is given to you. That's called being an effect of a system that doesn't have your best interest in mind. So keep that in mind. DM me the word sales to get an absolute meet you where you're at NLP hypnotic influence game plan to get your first, not just high paying clients, because I usually only help established coaches who are scaling from 6 to 7 figures. But if you're serious and you want to come and change your fucking life, level up your frequency, purify your abundance money blocks once and for all. And I don't mean money blocks. I mean authentic money blocks. I mean aligned money blocks. The kind of money blocks where you're like, why is it that I can make other people tons of money, but I just am not very good at receiving in something that is that my heart's desire, is that my heart is giving me life. Your heart is giving you life. And every time that I've helped someone to double, triple their sales or start from scratch, I love beginners, because beginners don't have this neurotic holding pattern of know-it-all syndrome. They don't. They just literally are a clean fucking slate. They do exactly what I tell them to do. I say, hey, here's the outcome. We're going to reverse engineer from the offer, then the closing method, the conversion tool, and then the message. And you just do that. You just need 2 to 5 hours a week. Who doesn't have that? If you hate your job, you once loved it, but now you're stuck. You're fucking stagnant. You're fucking pissed. Or maybe you're just laughing because I'm a clown and I am a dumbass because I don't like to think. Do you get that? I don't like thinking because that's burning mental capital from lacking a clear method or a clear roadmap. That's burning mental capital. So people are so smart that they just create these convincing lies to themselves, and then they have karma that they have to clean. But don't worry. If that's you, it's okay. I see you. I appreciate you. But just punch yourself in the face because it feels good to stop punching yourself. Just stop punching. Don't punch yourself to begin with. Take action and let yourself be the now. Like, see if you could possibly be the director of your movie character. If that's possible for you, then that would have to mean that you can look at who you've been. You can look at your current self and the results that you've created, that you've actually wanted, because when you choose, that's what you actually want. When you don't decide, you're deciding to stay stuck. That's actually what you want. Maybe not on a conscious level, but at a subconscious level, you want to have the results you have. And as long as people are willing to admit that to themselves, man, they are going to be so much happier. It's a lie that you can't be happy and have dopamine pop from your brain most of the day, 80% of the day. It's a lie that you can't make multiple millions of dollars. We've helped over 100 people do that, and I myself in different niches. That's possible. That's not a lie. We have the tech, we have the neuroscience, and we also have our bodies. So if you have a physiology, you can do it. If you don't have a body, I don't know if I can help you. But if you have a body, okay, you have a neurology, which means that you can break your psychology in a good way. Okay, your psychology will never, ever, ever, ever outcompete your physiological responses, meaning how your nervous system communicates with your mind. And your conscious mind only thinks in the pattern of story and words and language. Your unconscious thinks in the frame of structures, metaphors, feelings, and or emotions. And not all emotions, like I said, it's worth repeating, not all emotions are feelings, or I'm sorry, all emotions are feelings, but not all feelings are emotions. So when you elevate to a high frequency of acceptance, love, surrender, joy, peace, okay, just understand that enlightenment and being a derping, apathetic, like just loser, okay, it's a joke. When you're a derper, you look very similar as a wokey brokey spiritual person and also a highly enlightened person. Now, the thing with enlightenment is that people forget that the people who are struggling the most in life, who are claiming to be most spiritual, they egoically love to feel superior to other people because they're so enlightened. And you forget that that's actually a holding pattern too, which is superior complex syndrome. So that's also food for thought too. And I do not claim by any means to be enlightened. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell the fuck no. So I hope that answers your question, but DM me the word sales to just start making money with helping people on social media. You do not need a website. You do not need to be well known. You do not need to be good at marketing or sales. You can suck at it. I love when people suck at it. I just love healthy energy. I love positivity. I love when people can just be honest and ethical. I love that shit because those are the people who can take a knee, not to me, but to God. They can take a knee to their potential self, because that's the gap. When someone's apathy, their higher self is trying to scream at them to wake up their current self. And that's the gap we close. It's called osmosis. Okay. You can't not win in my community. That's not going to happen. Okay. We had a couple clients one added 40K and last week, another added 51K in sales last week. And no, I didn't say month. I said week. Okay. So, but that's okay. It's okay for you to crush it. It's okay for you to have pleasure. It's okay for you to make love, but just to understand that the communication in the dating world or in the business world is just slightly different for men. Okay. The dirty talk that a guy likes is not the same thing that the dirty talk that a girl likes. It's not the same. They're different. Okay. As a man, you can do all these cool hip tricks and stuff like that. Those can work. But what I'm saying is that when you flow and you kind of surf and you kind of mirror how a woman likes to be talked to, likes to be touched in that dynamic, and you don't push it, okay, you're gonna win in your dating life. You're gonna win in attracting a life partner. And if you are a woman, you recognize the signals that you're broadcasting out to the right guys that you actually want as committed lovers who you trust. Well, you got to understand that the signals you're putting out, because a lot of the signals that women put out attracts takers. It attracts people who don't care about your boundaries, honestly. And if you don't believe me, Don't believe me, but just look at what your results are. And I would never tell people to believe me at any of my live events. I just said, don't believe me, test it. And then you can decide if you believe me. Does that make sense? You don't need to figure stuff out. You don't need to work on stuff, okay? Wheel has been created. It's just that people don't like asking for help because they can't admit that they can't do it by themselves. But I just say you can do it by yourself, but you may never get there, and you may take you 10x amount of time it could take you, which just defeats the purpose of social creatures living on the same planet. But anyways, that's all another conversation. Okay, you are sovereign. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You deserve the AP, brother, or whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Rolex, okay? But just understand that if you buy a Rolex, you're probably going to get hit on by more guys than girls. Most girls don't even know what a Rolex is or looks like. Or you'll just get exploited for your money. Like when you're a guy, you lead with money. I've seen this happen to my friends. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Okay? Because mistake being a high value man as a high status man. Those are not the same thing. And oftentimes those guys, again, leading with material again, they get fucked in the booty and not in a good way. Okay? And if you're gay and you guys, that's your thing, knock yourself out. I love it. I fucking love it. I have openly gay friends. It's totally great. It's fine. Is that your vibe? Then that's your vibe. I support that. Okay. Any questions on, you guys have any more questions? What did you learn from your favorite clients? Oh God, co-creation. It's just fun. It's a game. It's literally like infinite possibilities. It's co-leadership. It's pure fucking community joy. It's pure personal transformation. It's pure God essence. It's like core self-discovery on the most elite fucking level that you are crushing it so much. You're in so much momentum that you become aware of the false you that was getting baby stepped away from momentum by a lot of people settling, coasting, stagnating, and they're not coasting across. There's no such thing. You're either in a downward spiral or you're in a spiral. And when you're in a downward or upward spiral, you have to be aware of when that's taking place, because that turns into unhealthy habits. That turns into unhealthy dating dynamics. That turns into getting controlled by your have-not paradigm of when I have more money, I'll be happier. When I have a better relationship, then I'll be happier. You're getting frame controlled by retail success. Yes, exactly. But it's also like downward spiral versus upward spiral. Like that's energy, right? Energy is not stagnant. It's always in flux. And when you learn how to become more flexible in your communication, and then you turn that into a walking sequence and system, game over. And the epitome of knowing is blocking yourself from what you are now. So if you're attached to the future that's not real, you're probably looping on something that you don't even need to worry about. Or you're just kind of shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it gets very unhealthy on the spectrum of shoulda, coulda, woulda. You start to edge on very thin ice, not for me, but just understand that a lot of people love to use sensitivity as a weapon to manipulate. And so, in other words, very nice people are probably some of the most dangerous people to society because they don't question authority. They just do. They're like a sheep. They're a sheep. Okay? Metaphor. It's a metaphor. We love all human life. We respect all human life, but you get my point. Yep. Last question is, this is a fun question. If you're taking your business seriously, you'll know your numbers. The question is, what metrics are your clients not paying attention to that they should? Woo! First of all, Okay, what content is performing the best? That's obvious. It's really not even that important, but yes, that's important. How many positive replies are you getting, and how many are in your qualification pool in DMs? When you have those leads sorted, you have we have a template and a swipe file for effortless follow up to close more clients on repeat. Not a sales call, okay, without looking needy or pushy or spammy or fake, like a bot, like a mini chat bot, like a mini chat bot, like a mini chat bot. No. Okay. So that's a number, KPI lever. Another KPI lever is like, well, how many sales opportunities, how many offers have you made? What's your conversion rate? What are you selling? How much for? Do you even know what you're selling? Most people don't. They're confusing the process for the promise, which is why they're attracting mediocre clients, but take the clients because they need money or they take an odd job. It's one of the two, because they're not actually recognizing that they have a new chapter for the next level of leadership that their soul is calling them into. God is speaking into them, but they're burying their fucking hand in the sand because they're comfortable. And I've been there, so I know how scary that can seem, but it's an illusion, just like all fear. Okay? High-level people just fucking love themselves. They add value and they fucking win. They stop talking and they just do. And then they just enjoy life. So, okay, it's okay for you to crush. Yes, it is. Okay? You're not helping people. Like, point out a poor person that can help people. Can someone do that for me? I'll give you $1,000 if you can. And don't say, you know, Gandhi or fucking Mother Teresa. That's the next. Those are exceptions to the rule. Yeah. Because like in that age, in that paradigm, they need to like be in this capitalist society. You know, like it's so funny. Like all my 8 and 9 figure friends, like they literally tell me, and this is so true. Like when you get the nice stuff, like you think that that's gonna make you satisfied or some shit, but like you're just leveraging it as a marketing tool. And the highest level marketers literally talk to people like babies, meaning like they have to flash the fucking car, they have to flash the mansion, they have to flash the cash in front of your face and rub the pie in your face, because that's actually the state of society of how fucking like in a fucking hypnosis and trance everybody's in. So that's the only way you're going to actually pay the fuck attention to actually the real codes they have, but they have to do the sugary bait because most humans, like, they're not sophisticated. So they just, sports car, you know, and most of the blocks that people have in business aren't even business issues. They're secret vices that they don't really tell anybody, but it's just a way for them to cope with the reality. And the biggest cope is gossip, complaining, and projecting envy. That's the biggest cope because it gives you cheap dopamine to feel good about yourself, only because you can pull people down psychologically. But as again, you really deep down know that you could have that, but you just refuse to do different things. So no one's broken. It's just people do ineffective stuff. And that means that there's no such thing as stubbornness. It just implies that you're ineffective. You're not effective. You're either effective at flowing with mind, body, spirit, nervous system, and systems, or you're just ineffective right now in your industry and you're expecting different results. That's called reality. So there's no such thing as stubbornness. Okay, there's just right and wrong expectations. And right isn't the same thing as doing what's good. Doing what's wrong isn't the same thing as doing bad things. Okay, that was deep what I just said, but that's for another conversation. Let's see here. So DM me the word coach. By the way, we've got a seed that I'm planting with my friend Hannah, and we're going to be inviting people into implementing their customized transcendent sell by chat system, bolting and installing that cash flow system into their business to add another $10 to $20 to even $40,000 per month of consistent income in their coaching or consulting or healing business, or relationship coaching business, or leadership coaching business, okay? Or even your business coaching business. And we're going to show you how that's going to look. We have more about that later, but just planting the seed, because she's also going to help people with clearing those resistance blocks to you feeling safe with receiving. And it's the inner work. And when you don't do what happens is that I see this all the time. This has happened to me too. So I'm just going to be honest with you and vulnerable that there were times when I hit 100K months, but then I didn't do the personal transformation that's required. So what happened was I just kind of eased off the gas, sabotaged it. Okay. This was 3 years ago. I fucking went on this website. I was feeling a little, this is really actually like, I don't care if this hurts my brand at all, but like, dude, I was just feeling lonely, man. I was like 100K a month, man. And I was single at the time. And my meat suit took over. My fucking reptilian brain took over. My biological drive took over. And I called 2 escorts over. Holy shit, I just said that. That's public now. And I was like, damn, I need to do a lot of inner work. I need to do a lot of self-development. So thank God I sabotaged myself to learn that lesson, because I felt so gross, right? Like I felt disgusting. I mean, it was a blast. But again, it wasn't worth it. It's fucking primal. It's fucking primal, right? So in some way, universe protects us from getting the things we think we want, because we don't recognize that you need to transform yourself, and you need to be willing to walk away from relationships and people who are not in the same vibration as you. They're not in the same frequency as you. And when you don't transform yourself, okay, and you don't integrate that version of yourself, you're never going to hold on to that cash success. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You have to elevate your spirituality and your integration to be able to feel and to hold that responsibility. So God never gives you responsibility, because money is just a reflection of how much responsibility that you can handle. And when you have bad habits, you have a messed up identity that's not in accordance to who you really want to be, then you're never going to actually hit your goals, financial goals. It's just not going to happen, because it's almost like God doesn't trust you. He doesn't trust you with fucking more responsibility. So it's a universal principle, and we can't trick the universe. Last time I checked, like if you can defy gravity, like hit me up, because that would be something I would like to learn how to do. But in the meantime, maybe you want to just consult Elon Musk, because he probably knows about that more than you do. And I say that with love. So, but does that make sense, right? Like, I'm just being honest with you. Like, that's what I'm here to share with you. Like, this path is called the narrow path for a reason. It's not called the vast path. The vast path, and it says in the Bible or whatever, is the path that leads to destruction, and that's where people get distracted. They get in consumer culture. They don't add value to the world. They're just taking. They're just consuming. They're just dopamine dumping. They're just socializing with friends, an excuse to keep numbing their pain with alcohol. Okay, and they're just avoiding their next level as a leader. Yep, we all know it. I used to do it with cocaine and Molly, so I'm not too proud to admit it. I've been there, so I get it. Let's fucking go, guys. It's time to fucking clear this karma. Scorpio season. My birthday's coming up in 2 days. What the fuck? No, actually 4 days. Okay. Fun little surprise there with you guys. But I already saw my family last week. Yes. Great question. Yes, Scorpio season, right? We're in the Phoenix rising season. We're in the Eagle season. Most Scorpios, just not as developed. I used to be that way. Because most Scorpios, like when you're not developed, you have a lot of possessiveness, a lot of need to control, and not a lot of secrecy. And you're just not moving. Like you're just not in this transcendent state of being. And so you tend to kind of contract. So what I like to do, I like to expand and then like just vibrate and just stay in that kind of flexibility, right? Like Bruce Lee. right? I always say if Eckhart Tolle, Bruce Lee, Jim Carrey, and maybe like, I don't know, fucking Prince, I don't know. But if those 4 guys had an orgy, that'd be me. Okay? You get the visual? Okay, so yes, if metaphors, colorful metaphors, cursing, or abrasive language offends you, you should unfollow me, like now. There's the door. Okay. All gonna be okay. Okay, have a good day, everybody. That was awesome. We got a few more questions. My team will write these down. We've got prizes for people next week. But again, if you want access to the in-person or online hypnotherapy, quantum healing, clearing sessions, okay, we give you a personalized subconscious recording for anything that you want, anything. Call me Santa if you want, but you don't have to, because I'd have to be Asian, wouldn't I? I mean, not. Anyways, when you're over-identified with your gender, your age, your race, your shit, your career, your relationship, you're getting frame controlled, calling yourself awakened. When you're just labeling yourself as woke and you're hyper fixating on all the stuff that doesn't even matter to your growth. Okay, that's just my perspective. Philosophy, yes. So yeah, DM me that. And also if you want access to my Transcendent Cell by Chat system, message me DMs and I'll just send it right over. Okay. If you're serious about 6-figure months, not if you're just kind of like dabbling, if you're a dabbler, there's plenty of other coaches I could refer you to. Plenty. And I mean plenty. Okay. Plenty. Okay. But there's qualifiers. So we're going to ask you a few questions. Okay. We don't make it easy for people to join. Okay. It's not easy to join. Now it's very easy to leave, but it's not easy to join. If it's easy to join, it's hard to leave. You're looking at a cult. That's not ethical. We are an ethical cult. Frequency Influence Collective. Yeah, baby. Oh, right? My self-righteous ass. Damn, oh damn, have I been humbled. Yeah, slow-hanging fruit your clients can take advantage of. Damn, there's so much. We'll save that for next time, okay? I'm going to keep that loop open for y'all next time. How to sell 6 figures on the stage. We'll keep that for next time. And, by the way, if you pay attention to your nervous system, if you can point to the feeling that's blocked when you're triggered, that means you can change it. You do need the tools to do it, or else it accumulates and then it implodes. And when it implodes, it gets messy. It gets messy. It gets messy. Okay. Questions? No? Oh, what's one thing you disagree with the market on? Oh, I already went over that, dude. You came to the party a little late. Okay. Go back on the recording. I post this, and you can do what you want with that. Yeah, small outcome. Did I achieve recently? Great question. I started to drink more water. That was more nature walks, more water, more meditation, and breath work. So super stoked about that. All right, we love you. Have a good night, everybody. Hope this is valuable, and can't wait to see you guys again. Much love. Peace. Sign that out. Bam.